This bangle was a gift from a Nepalese friend I made while in Afghanistan. It's quite heavy for its size, and he told me it came from Nepal. However, due to the language barrier, he wasn't able to share much more about its origin, age, or historical significance. Since then, we've lost touch after I went to Kuwait and eventually returned to the US. I doubt it's made of gold, but it feels like it could be brass. Despite that, I've kept it for years because of the personal value it holds for me. And he was just a kid, really. Barely 18 and far from home, working as a contractor in Bagram for less than $1 an hour. My wife, who was back home, and I took him and his family under our wing, doing our best to offer financial help and, more importantly, treating their son with dignity and respect. The personal significance of this gift far surpasses any monetary value. He was a good kid, and he'll always hold a special place in my heart. I say that in the most sincere, non-creepy way possible, of course. Any ideas what this thing is? It's a kada made of brass, probably. It's basically a bangle. They often have religious significance.
It was a gift from a family friend, a single solid piece of hardwood. The wood is impressively heavy, though its exact age remains a mystery. The back is smooth and unembellished, with no engravings. Does anyone have any idea what it might be? It's half a Viking chair.
I came across this in our workshop, hanging on the wall. My boss mentioned he found it in a garage while helping someone move. It's 3.7 centimeters thick and 15 centimeters wide. No one seems to know what it is, but it's quite heavy and likely made of copper. Does anyone know what it is? It could very well be a stylized horseshoe meant to bring good luck. The only reason it's hanging on the wall might be because no one knows where else to place it. There's a story about a horseshoe hanging above the door of Professor Niels Bohr, the world-renowned atomic physicist. When asked if he truly believed it brought him luck, Bohr replied, "No, of course I don't believe it. But I've noticed it seems to work even when you don't believe in it." In 1981, my dad found this on a dirt gravel road in Bradenton, Florida. He says it flew right over him, accompanied by a whistling or buzzing sound. When he picked it up, it was still hot. The object is quite heavy, with what appears to be carbon on its surface. It has 6 fins, each made from 3 pieces of metal. The fins are attached in pairs, with adjacent ones seemingly welded to the main body and bent outward, though I'm not entirely sure how it was made. Does anyone recognize what this might be? It's the nose cone of a military signal rocket. The rocket fired out of an aluminum tube about 1.5 inches in diameter. The rocket was aluminum, with pop-up fins that sprang into place when it left the launch tube. When the flare ignited, it separated from the rocket body and was the nose cone of the rocket with a parachute attached to it to slow its descent. It will be hard to prove since there aren't many pictures of signal rockets outside the launch tube as they were not removable. But this would explain it flying overhead, being hot and covered in carbon. I recently received this from my grandfather, and it's been in the family for quite some time. It's a heavy metal device, and there appear to be instructions suggesting it should be placed on the stove with a removable metal piece beneath the roller. The handle of the roller is marked with 1880. We're trying to figure out what this might have been used for. Any ideas? It's a crimping fluting iron. Victorian mechanical fluting iron made by Shepherd Hardware. American-made cast iron fluting iron is complete with the original heater slug. Made in Buffalo, New York around the 1880s. These type of specialty irons were an essential appliance in the late 1800s as pleats and ruffles on collars, cuffs, and dresses were the fashion of the day. What is this heavy brass object that resembles a genie lamp, featuring both a strange cutout spout and a narrow upward spout? There's no visible writing on it, but it appears to be intricately hand-decorated. I've had no luck with Google Lens, and searching brass pot with 2 spouts but weird hasn't led to any answers either. Does anyone recognize it? It's a lamp. It's literally an oil lamp to be used to create light. The wick goes in the spout. The oil goes in the belly. You light the wick and a flame will burn on the end of the spout like a little candle, and you can carry your lantern around with you. I found this on the side of the road. It's made of metal and has Craftsman stamped on the front. It features a cup with a nozzle attached, along with a small rope. The object looks quite heavy, measuring about 1.5 feet wide and just under a foot tall. I tried searching it through Google Images, but nothing similar came up. At first I thought it might be some sort of stove, or perhaps the bottom part of a hot water heater, but I'm not entirely sure. Does anyone have an idea what it might be? It's used for lapidary work. The cylindrical part holds water, which cools the tool while you sharpen it. My friend found a large metal bell made of rings at a thrift store in the Netherlands. The frame was very sturdy, and the bell itself was quite heavy. The entire piece was crafted from wire rings, and it appeared to have a power cord coming out of it. Does anyone know what it is? It's one impressive lamp. This thing is incredibly heavy, and the rig it's hanging from is built solid for a reason. It was found about 6 inches underground in a garden in the Scottish Highlands. It's painted yet surprisingly heavy for its size, approximately 75 millimeters in diameter. It's likely made of brass, as it shows no signs of corrosion, ruling out steel. We're leaning toward it being a radiator cap, but we're not entirely sure. Any idea what it could be? This is a Hupmobile radiator cap, a nostalgic piece of automotive history. It's an original from 1926, with a beautiful gold patina that suggests it's made of bronze. The nickel silver has mostly worn off over time, and there's a hole where the bolt has worn through. This is a solid, classic piece, over 80 years old, and it's in remarkable condition for its age. I found this in eastern Washington while operating an excavator and moving dirt piles with my dad. It feels surprisingly heavy for its size, almost like a rock, and though it seems metallic, it's not magnetic. Despite my best efforts to clean it, it still has a rough surface. Notably, there's a stinger at one end of it. Any ideas what this thing is? This is a brass sculpture of a cricket. In many parts of Europe, crickets were associated with hearth and home. It was said that a cricket living near the hearth would bring good luck and protect the family from harm. If a cricket left the home, it was often considered a bad omen. Over time, brass crickets became popular as symbolic decorations to continue this tradition, even without a real cricket present.
I found this item in the estate of a retired electronics repairman. It's a palm-sized gray solid metal stand marked with a Phillips label and the word service elegantly written in cursive. The stand measures about 4 by 4 by 2 inches and features several openings of varying sizes, which appear to be placeholders, but for what purpose, I'm not sure. The bottom of the stand has some inscriptions, but their meaning eludes me. There are no moving parts or electrical inputs, just the metal stand itself. I tried searching with Google Lens using terms like Philips service stand and old Philips stand, but came up empty. For some reason, I can't shake the feeling that it might be related to old electric shavers, as I found several of those in the same estate. Any idea what it could be?